Hello everyone, we're doing things a little bit differently today, mostly due to time constraints. Last night I went ahead and filmed your New Year's tarot reading in the dark by the fireplace. I felt like it was a really fitting setting, so hopefully that turned out okay. I haven't even reviewed the footage yet, but we'll be cutting to that shortly. But thank you so much, those of you who have come over to check out this little channel where I read tarot for writers and artists. A lot of tarot readings focus on just only romance, only the romantic relationships part of your life, and I feel like tarot is for everything and not just romance and relationships. So come on over here if you're an artist, if you're an author especially, and we'll do tarot readings that are specifically looking at that part of our lives. And so now, without further ado, we will go to my first ever Celtic Cross tarot reading for you for the new year, and then I will come back and say goodbye. All right, we're here by firelight. Sorry if the audio sounds a bit different. It's probably going to come kind of more from one side because I'm on one side of the camera. But we are going to do our reading for tonight. We are doing my first ever Celtic Cross, so I'm going to be following the instructions in my book, and I'm going to be using 3 of my decks because some other readers that I've been watching use multiple decks. So we're going to play it by vibes. We're going to play it by mood. We're going to be doing things a little bit differently. I'm not going to stop at every single card and be like, this is what this means, this is what this means. I might stop a couple of times in the process, but I'm going to kind of maybe be looking at this reading a lot more just as an overall reading versus a let's stop and look at this card, let's stop and look at this card, let's stop and look at this card. So without further ado, I'll get my handy dandy guide and we will begin with our Celtic Cross. So in the first spot, I'm just going to begin with my OG deck. We have the High Priestess in the present spot. And then I'm just going to go down the line. In the challenged position, we have the 5 of Wands reversed, which is going to be, I'm going to remember that's reversed because it's sideways. Maybe if I lean it like this. All right, in the third position, which is the past, we have the 6 of Wands reversed. In the fourth position, which is the future, we have the Queen of Coins. In the fifth position, which is goals, we have the Empress reversed. In the sixth position, we have internal influence, which is the 8 of Pentacles reversed. In the action position, we have justice reversed. Oh, goodness. In the external influence position, we have the Knight of Pentacles. In the hopes and fears position, we have the Fool reversed. And finally, in our last position, the final outcome, we have the 3 of Staves, which doesn't look very promising. Oh, goodness. All right, so I'm going to take a minute to look over this reading, and then I will get back to you with more of my deeper thoughts on it. All right, I finally have my notes. Let's see if I can read them in the low light. I'm not going to show you my notes because when I write fast, my spelling is atrocious. By the way, we are doing our reading today on a blanket that was handmade by my daughter, so I feel like doing a reading about something artistic on something handmade just brings good energy. Speaking of good energy, Giorgio is here. Maybe she'll hop up on the table and bring her chaos. So, all right. So initially I was worried, but I think things are going to work out. So we do have in our present position, we have the High Priestess, which is a balance, a powerful figure in ourselves. Like the High Priestess usually means that we have achieved some kind of spiritual balance. So the High Priestess is us feeling pretty good, but then we immediately get hit with the Five of Wands reversed, which is like a little diversity. It's a little bit of something thrown our way, but I don't think things are quite going badly yet. It's when we start to get into the other stuff that we have to watch out, because there's obstacles that are going to be thrown in our way this year in our writing projects, in our art projects. Like, I'm going to kind of lean more towards writing, but I think this reading can apply to all art. So in our past position, we are going to be watching out for ego. We are going into this year with like some inflated thoughts of ourselves. We're going into this year with some opportunity, but we're also going in with ego. We're the High Priestess. So we're feeling a little bit too confident going into this year, I think this reading is saying. In the future spot though, we have the Queen of Coins. So things are looking up. It's sensibility, generosity, practicality, good feminine energy, money coming in our future, so that's good. Our goals is the Empress reversed, however, and that is us clinging. I feel like this reading is saying we're clinging. We're clinging to old ways. We are clinging to, again, ego. I know best. I have found the best way to do something, and I'm not interested in looking at other ways of doing something, or interested in different angles of maybe than I had planned. And I know this is something I'm very guilty of myself. Like, once I find a way that I like to do something, I stick to it. But this is definitely saying, like, we need to be open to opportunities to change if we want that future of the Queen of Coins. Internally, we gotta watch out, because internally we are feeling a lot of lack of inspiration, of listlessness, which is hard to say. And I think that comes again from us dragging ourselves down with the ego and the clinging to the old way, the dependence on the way that we were doing things artistically, either artistically or maybe in our business where we're trying to sell our art. Like, maybe if you are thinking of going one route for publishing, maybe it's time to explore the other route. Maybe if you always use the same editor, but it's really not working out, it's time to try a new editor. And I'm not saying that to promote myself. I am not. I'm actually thinking of using a new editor myself this year. So it might be time for a change, is what I'm seeing here, especially with a lot of the internal feeling very uninspired and a lot of mediocrity. Our action is also looking kind of iffy. We're looking at inaccountability and dishonesty coming in from justice reversed, some injustice there. So maybe also we are looking ahead at something that's not going to go fairly for us. So maybe we think something's going to be really successful and it just doesn't go down the way that we were wanting and hoping, and it's not going to go fairly for us. Our hopes and fears are the Fool reversed, which I think definitely goes more for fears, because that's bringing in some hopelessness. So hopes and fears, we're fearing this hopelessness, especially if we stick to the old ways and then we take that hit with injustice happening to us. But good news, I was worried about the Three of Staves as our final outcome, but the Three of Staves is actually telling us that we can look forward. If we can push through these obstacles, we can look forward to productivity and expansion and really growing ourselves, like whether it is growing our skills, growing our platform, growing our network, just growing our story, adding more words this year. Maybe if you're one of those people who only does NaNoWriMo, maybe this is your year that you try to write more often, try to fit it into the cracks of your day. I used to write for an hour every day in a cleaning closet. Like, we can make it work. And also just, again, with the reminder that we need to look for new ways to do things. The old way maybe is not going to be serving us too much longer, and we need to be on the lookout for new ways and not to let our ego get in the way of that. And our self-knowledge and our feeling that we are like complete. We feel like we are the High Priestess, but we're not. We're not there yet. We have a lot to face. But outcome looking pretty shiny if we can get through those obstacles. What do we think? Do we like this reading? Does this reading feel hopeful for you in the new year? Does it scare you, make you nervous? Do you feel like it applies to you, or do you feel like, no, this isn't for you? Comment below and let me know, and I will let other Julian do a little outro. All right, thanks so much for checking out that reading. Did that resonate with you? Let me know. Don't forget to check out my other channel where we talk about all things bookish and writerly. And don't forget, if you like this channel, to go ahead and subscribe, because there will be a new reading every month, the beginning of every month. And also I will try to do some tarot reading shorts in between. Those I just do when I have time to do them, so it's a little bit inconsistent, but the beginning of every month we will have a new artistic and writerly reading to be getting on with, so come check those out.